Welcome to the Ballard Show. I have a very special guest by the name of Adenike Bitto. She is a health specialist here in Somerset County and all surrounding areas. Tell the world hello.
Hi everyone, how are you today?
All right, we're going to talk about some serious things. We're going to talk about Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Can you give us some insights on that?
Yes.
How you feel about that?
Yes, sickle cell disease is a very important disease that affects many people around the world. It affects African Americans as well as people of Mediterranean origin in Sicily. What happens is at birth you inherit an A gene from one parent, and you could also inherit an A gene from the other parent, and then you will be an AA person. For some other individuals, they may inherit the A phenotype, genotype from a parent, and the S from the other parent, or the C if they're of Mediterranean origin. So they would be AS. In fact, the story is that the AS gene is somewhat protective against malaria, and that would have protected people in those regions of the world where there's malaria. The third kind of person is inherits the S from one parent plus the S from the other parent. That's an SS, and that's the sickle cell disease.
Wow.
What happens with sickle cell disease? Normally you have the red blood cell that takes, with hemoglobin, that takes oxygen from the lungs through the body to critical areas. Can you imagine, as we're talking now, there's oxygen working through the brain, the muscles, enabling us to do the show. And whatever you're doing there, the oxygen that goes around your body is critical. However, for the sick person with sickle cell, instead of remaining spherical and round, the cells assume a sickle shape. Remember the moon?
Yes.
Sometimes the moon has that almost C-shaped shape. You can imagine that if you have a C shape, it's easy to clump together. And then, can you imagine in the joints and critical parts of the body, when those cells clump together, the pain that these individuals feel? In fact, that's a good point to talk about, the pain. For many of them, when they go into the hospitals, people say, oh, these are drug addicts who are looking for more drugs. It's not so. It's incredible pain.
It's incredible pain.
And I would like to commend the researchers and the individuals with sickle cell who have worked together to cause that now individuals with the sickle cell disease, SS, can live for almost forever, just like the regular population.
Wow.
Congrats to the individuals who've done the research and the researchers who've broken through to enable this for us.
Yeah, my heart goes out to the people who have sickle cell anemia, man. My uncle has it, Joe Johnson Jr. Enough love and respect to you. Rest in peace, Prodigy from Mobb Deep. He had sickle cell. A lot of people in the business, in the music industry, have diseases. Danny Suave Music. Salute to you, brother, because you definitely moving forward. You definitely moving as you should, and to have sickle cell and a person of that caliber to have that is very interesting. And God bless you all, man, for real. Okay, we're gonna talk some more about sickle cell anemia.
Yes.
It is Sickle Cell Anemia Month.
Yes, because sickle cell anemia doesn't affect the majority of the population, sometimes, like over here in the lower eastern shore, we may not now have enough medical services. I understand from some of the associations that the problem is when the individuals get into that crisis situation, there's no real care here, and they have to go across the Bay Bridge. Over the weekend, sometimes it takes me 4.5 hours to get from here over to Montgomery County. So can you imagine if you're going to a specialist center in Baltimore, like my alma mater, Johns Hopkins University? Can you imagine the pain that the child, the distress, and who knows what other complications could occur? Wow. So I would like us to work together to find a way to bring sickle cell services down here to the lower shore. We need it desperately. If you can help, please. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Let the show know.
Yes, yes, indeed. You can reach me at themarkballardshow@gmail.com, or you can reach me at 443-366-1340. We're gonna talk about the pandemic. How did you manage yourself in this pandemic when it first started back in 2020?
Yes, as a public health specialist and an epidemiologist, This is some of our bailiwick, some of the work we do. So I followed the pandemic with great interest. I had been involved with presentations and teaching and other things with previous pandemic, the Zika, the first coronavirus epidemic that we had a while back. So in fact, when it started, I just felt that we're well set. The nation has everything in place and that we're not going to have a problem.
You knew it was going to be a problem.
No,
you didn't.
I felt there would be no problem because we had prepared. We had preparedness in place for those kinds of things. Everything was set. So I kind of felt, well, it's going to come, and like we've done before, we'll take care of this. To my shock, we've had over 1 million deaths nationwide.
Wow.
I don't know whether it's up to 1.25 now. So it's very sad. It's very sad. And I'm wondering whether some of what we need to do is to go back to the basics. We're human beings. If a disease is a respiratory disease, which means, by the way, can you think of somebody who doesn't breathe? What would you call them? Kind of like dead?
Yeah, absolutely.
So breathing is essential for all creatures. So if it's something that is breathing, we're all here. Wherever we are, we breathe the same air. So the key then is, if it's something that somebody has it in them and breathes it out, and you and I are going to breathe it out, how do we stop it? I'm talking of going down to the basics of physiology and biology. If it's a respiratory disease, how do we stop? How do you stop breathing in the disease, the germs that are coming from the other person? I think that was one spot where we missed it, not fully understanding our biology, our physiology. In fact, I can think of other diseases, For example, the sexually transmitted diseases, that's why people wear caps, condoms and stuff like that. Because the fluid getting from one person to the other would cause disease if a person picks it up. I'm saying basic epidemiology, biology teaches us how human beings function. How can we get a disease? For this COVID pandemic, it was breathable. So if you could protect yourself from breathing in the disease germs from coming from others or carried in the air, you had a higher chance of not getting infected. And of course, the second part was the shots. If you could tell your body that, you know what, this disease is around, and you soldiers that are inside me, the immune soldiers, I want to ramp you up. So if we should ever come across this COVID, all you immune, the cell-mediated, the humoral-mediated elements in me, rise up and fight it. So that was the second thing we could have done, and many people did it. They took the shots, and it has helped them. The unfortunate thing now is the current strain. So COVID-19 is caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. And you are aware, I'm aware, how it has developed many strains. The current strains, the BA4 and the BA5, are real mean, in my opinion. I understand that sometimes they can reinfect a person every 4 weeks. So that's why the government has come up with this new booster. This booster has an element of the original vaccine and a brand new portion targeting BA4 and BA5.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
So, were you a part of the committee that made the vaccine, or did you have anything to do with that? Okay,
no.
I just wanted to know. I do have a friend that was making the what's it called?
mRNA.
I took it. Moderna. She in Pennsylvania, she works at a place out there that was making the Moderna vaccine, and that was another reason why I took the Moderna, because she told me that it was definitely healthy because she works there. It wasn't nothing. 'Cause a lot of people were saying, like, the conscious community per se say that the vaccines were not good for us. It was trying to depopulate the public. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel good. You know what I'm saying? I feel good that I took all three plus the booster shot and everything. I feel good. But
Likewise,
that's like a lot of
myself.
people saying that it was to try to depopulate.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that comment, to encourage people to take it, because I learned something. In fact, this sounds very silly to me, but I would like to ask everybody. What I've seen with this COVID-19 was people, like you listened to your cousin who's working in the field and knew it. It seemed to me as many people were listening to other persons who had no experience with vaccines, no experience with public health, no experience with epidemiology. So I was wondering, I wanted to ask all of you, From this COVID experience, does it mean that when my car breaks down now or has a problem, I should take the car to a plumber? Or I should take the car to a cook? Because that was what I saw with COVID. People who had no background, no knowledge, no local standing speaking to this topic were giving ideas. And people were listening to them. Mm-hmm. So would you all recommend now that when that car starts making a funny noise, or if the tire has a problem, I should never take the car to the tire expert or to the mechanic, but take it to the cook or to the plumber or some other specialist? Because I saw that happening with the COVID. People, 1.25 or at least above 1 million deaths is not a joke. It's not a joke. That's going to affect life expectancy for the US. So that's why I'm asking. It may sound like a silly question, but I'm really bothered. Does it mean that in all other areas of life, we should stop using common sense and doing things the way that will benefit us, that will benefit our cars?
Absolutely.
Should we follow the COVID pandemic idea? What do you think? I'm so confused about what I saw everybody doing.
Right. It's a good point. Like, a lot of people in the black community don't want to take it because of what they've been hearing. Someone else said it has no experience in the medical field or anything like that. We have a professional doctor here that's talking about the vaccines. So people out there, if you haven't got your vaccines, go ahead and get it. I'm doing fine. I'm not getting sick or anything. People been around me for months and months and months, caught COVID-19 and caught these, you know what I'm saying, sick, because they have not took the shot. Some people I know took the vaccine and got sick anyway. But how do you feel about that?
Yes, that's why it's commendable that the government and the manufacturers took it upon themselves that this BA4 and BA5 variant, they're so mean that they just laugh and say, oh, if you got COVID or if you got the shot, I don't care about the immune soldiers in your body. I'm still going to affect you every 4 months. Wow. So that's why at the beginning of September, after the FDA approved it, CDC approved it, and the leader of CDC, she said, go ahead, give it out to everyone. You know, that was fantastic because this new booster, so what happens is you complete your original series. If you haven't taken your original series, please get the original, the primary series. When you complete that 3 or 4 months later, or kindly follow the correct directions, then you get this new booster. It's a combination. It makes your body respond to the original 2019-2020 variant trick to make your body think it's a virus. It is not the virus. The vaccine does not give you the virus. But now it's called bivalent, 2-part. That original, it makes your body think to attack the original variant as well as this mean BA4 and BA5 variants. So with that combination, we're preparing for hopefully a good time this fall and through the winter months. So please, I would encourage you, if at all possible, make sure you get your bivalent booster if you already completed the primary series, Moderna, Pfizer, and I believe there's a new one too.
Johnson & Johnson.
I believe that
Did they take that out?
I think that they took that out. But there's that other new one that we haven't heard too much about it, but that was also approved. So please, I beg of you, if possible, and they're available everywhere, get your primary series and the booster. If you completed your Moderna, your Pfizer and the new one, then after the correct number of months, get your bivalent that will attack the old, that would help you have soldiers, the immune soldiers in your body, either humoral or cell-mediated, and then will fight the old as well as this new mean BA4, BA5. Why get sick? Why die? Why bring disease to your kids at home?
That's crazy.
Why bring disease to your grandparents at home? Why? What's the benefit to you in that? Get your shots, if at all possible.
It definitely makes sense.
And I thank you for that. Because when you get it, you you protect everybody. Because there may be some people who cannot get the vaccine because of other conditions in their body. But when majority of us have it, we can protect them. I don't want to use the correct term for that because I heard how that term was slaughtered and misused. So I don't want to use it because then you will think I'm speaking of the nonsense that had been attached to it. But just think about it. Get your shots, protect the little ones at home, and of course they also can now get the vaccines. And your mother, your parents, grandparents, protect them too. Please do it.
Right.
It will be a kindness to community.
I mean, we have a doctor here, Dr. Bitto, man. She's not going to lie to you about what's the problem, a part of the pandemic. You have to get the vaccine because you're protecting your parents, you're protecting your grandparents, like she just said, you're protecting. And it makes sense because I went on and took it. You know what I mean?
Well done.
And at first, you know, it made my body feel kind of sore. You know, I was, you know, plus, you know, I have asthma too, and it kind of affected me a little bit. I had to miss a few days out of work for that. But 2 days later, I was fine. You know what I mean? I was, you know, some people's immune system is stronger than most, so some just walk like it's nothing. Like these guys from Cropper, they took the shots, and both of them still walk around like unmovable soldiers. You know what I mean? Them guys is deadly trying to get their business open and everything. They kept moving forward, and that was really good. Let me ask you another question about the pandemic. Do you think that? Oh, we could talk about the monkeypox.
Yes, that was another disease that has come up. And in addition to the monkeypox, did you hear about the polio myelitis outbreak in New York? In the state of New York?
Yeah.
Several counties have identified the polio virus in sewage treatment plants because it's an orophycal. You eat something, you put something in your mouth, and you get it. So when you pass it out of the other end, you flush it, and it gets to the sewage treatment plant. They can detect it. So that's of concern. But coming back to the monkeypox, that was another interesting one. What I find most interesting about that is monkeypox has traditionally been a specific viral infection of animals, of wild animals. And then when people in certain African regions would go out and interact with those wild animals or try and catch them and bring them home, they would get the monkeypox infection. That's what we've known for about 20, 30 or 40 years. But now suddenly, we had outbreaks in European countries and in America. What's happening? But again, the Centers for Disease Control and other experts have helped us. They do have the vaccines that, you know, if they can identify that somebody's in a risk group, they can give out the vaccines to help attack that. So many things happening. Please protect yourself. Keep abreast.
So is it spreading or is it just in New York?
What had happened was initially when it started, there was like 1 case, 2 cases in France, 1 case here, but now we have I think over 5,000 or more cases in the United States.
In the United States?
Yes. So keep abreast. Listen to the news. And if your local health department has the allotted vaccine and you fall into the category that is counted as at risk, please get this monkeypox vaccine too. Very interesting. A disease that never occurred in the Western world is now transmitted from person to... In fact, did you hear of the case where a person transmitted it to their dog, monkeypox? So now they were doing research to see, can that dog transfer it back to humans? Protect yourself.
Wow.
Protect yourself. That's why public health is very, very important to help you fight these conditions.
The time that we live in the days and times.
And also for the poliomyelitis case, that reminds us that make sure your children have they have been immunized, got their shots against all the childhood diseases. So for most people, they got the poliomyelitis when they were kids, and they may have had a booster as adults. But in some communities that say, we're not getting any vaccines. See what's happening. We're having outbreaks. Poliomyelitis causes paralysis and can lead to death. So please, check that all those shots that your kid needs to have to get to school, you've given it to them, you know. Right. Do your best. Do your best.
Wow. We
have the information for this day. We can't go back. Sometimes I wonder, how could we have done worse than the 1917-18 flu pandemic? How is it possible? In 2020, 2021, 2022, that we're kind of like doing worse than then. 100 years? We learned nothing? What does it mean? Are we regressing, going back to the Black Ages? What are we doing? Get your shots for your kids, please.
Yeah, you got to get the shots to protect your babies and all that, and your family and all that too. Okay, what made you how did you become a doctor? What school did you go to and all that?
Yes, what had happened was initially way back when I had been in medicine, and when I was in the first year of medicine, this was a school that values public health and preventive medicine. The professor said, I was going to be a pediatrician. He said, what I want you to do is during this long vacation, wherever you go to, wherever you live, go to the library and find out what are the conditions killing children in your area. That was it. I went there and it was so interesting to think, wait a minute, I don't have to wait till people are sick. I can actually do something to help with public health and protect people. In fact, when I was teaching in a college, I used to beg my students, I said, I don't know which of you will become the president in the future. I don't know which of you become a senator or representative, but I'm begging of you. In clinical medicine, a person drops and has a heart condition. The clinical physicians jump on him, do whatever they need to do, give him the injections. He rises up, everybody says, oh, he's alive. In public health, when we succeed, nothing happens. We fix the water so that the water you drink is safe. You're not going to get a gastrointestinal infection. Nothing happens. We fix the environment. All those nasty ticks and snakes and stuff are not going to get you. Bed bugs, they won't get you. Nothing happens. We fix everything. We make sure you get your shots, the immunizations that will protect you. We do everything. If public health succeeds, nothing happens. So I used to beg my students that because you see nothing is happening, don't cut the funds for public health. Increase funding for public health, because that money is what makes nothing happen. It's a paradox. When the money is effectively used in community, protecting the milk, protecting the food so that you don't get food outbreaks, ensuring that you get what you need in safe environment, and so on and so forth, nothing happens. So please, whichever ones of you has access to continuing funding public health, kindly do so. Because if you're waiting for something, the effectiveness of public health is nothing, no disease outbreaks in community. Please fund public health and preventive medicine. So I switched over to preventive medicine, and that was when I loved it. Then I took my master's in public health and my doctorate in public health right here in our own Johns Hopkins University, in a School of Public Health and Hygiene. That was what it was called then. Now it's the Bloomberg School of Public Health, in Baltimore, Maryland.
I
learned so much there.
Yeah, just heavy. Wow.
And I've worked with many local governments, state governments, and I do some work, some consulting with the federal government. So many interesting things.
Did you hear what she said? She works with the health department to better the water that we drink, the milk that we drink, the animals. It's like a whole lot of wonderful things that Miss Bitto is into.
In fact, I remember when I was in Pennsylvania, we did not have a local health department there in Monroe County. So I used to work with the sheriff and some of the selected persons. We were in charge of, helping with the local health department. Of course, I also worked with Harrisburg and so on and so forth. There's so many, and of course, I speak to the young ones who are looking for a career. Please, don't take to heart the fact that many people took weapons to accost public health people over the COVID pandemic. Please, we need you to consider public health as a career choice. Get your Masters of Public Health. Get your Masters of Science in Public Health. And if you want to go on, get your doctorate. Please, don't say, oh, I'm not going into that field. They're going to bring weapons. No, please. We need public health workers. So for the young ones, either starting up or looking to your future and thinking what you will do, please, public health is a viable career. Consider it kindly.
Y'all heard that out there, kids? Okay, any special requests and shout outs you want to send to anybody? Say hello to anyone?
Yes. Please, what was that fantastic event that we attended today?
Positive reinforcement, Ms. April
to the governor.
Alexander. Yes, she won an award from the governor, Helping People's Award. I forgot what the name of it is, but congratulations, Miss April Star Alexander, for winning that award. And she got funded from the government, so that is a blessing. I was glad to attend that. Anything else?
And also I would like to do a shout out to all the places that serve us the food that we eat. Some of us don't particularly cook a lot. So Squeakies, that would be up in Princess Anne, and you would know all the fantastic, many people, I can't mention any others, so it doesn't look as if I'm promoting, but we do thank them. They're keeping the food safe for us and available for us, and we do thank them. I think that's another important contribution. They're working with the various health departments to ensure that when they serve us this food that we go in a hurry to get because we haven't cooked, it's safe and healthy.
Right. Like I said, shout out to everybody who's watching the Mark Ballard Show. Man, shout outs to Rap Fiend Radio, Rush the Guillotine. Hope you feeling better, brother. I hope everything is well with you. Epiphany, peace and blessings to you. Smitty ATM, he would have supposed to been here with us. Maybe next week he'll show up. Everybody who's tuning in the Mark Ballard Show, Pack 14, YouTube. Yeah, that's what it is, family and friends, man. I love everybody. What else can we talk about?
Just one more thing. Well, one of many more things is, please, I would like to do a shout out to the president, the governor of Florida, the FEMA director in Florida, and all the preparedness staff, and of course the news stations, who have worked so hard in the last 2 or 3 days. It's been horrible watching that Hurricane Ian approaching. It devastated Cuba, I understand. It took out all the power grid. There was no light there this morning. And then it's approaching Florida. Please, I encourage, I don't know if Floridians watch this show, but if you did, please before they said move out, but they said in some of the critical areas now it's to move out. Hunker down. It's too late, for you to be out in the wind.
Is it up there like near Pensacola and all that? Is it the whole state of Florida?
Yeah, what happened was it's going to hit from the west, Tampa and so on, and then it's going to track across up, So it's seeming as if, and then they had said it had kind of like shifted south a tad towards Orlando, where many people had evacuated to. So please, a shout out to you. Do what you need to do. Keep yourself safe from the 18-foot surge of salt water and from the 24 inches of freshwater rain coming down. Please, but safe in Florida. We're in solidarity with you.
That's crazy.
Today, it's hitting today.
It's headed there today.
Today.
Wow.
Be safe.
Prayers to Florida, the state of Florida, everybody out there. Wow, it's just so much going on. You can tell it's the last days in time. Everybody stay prayed up out there, and if you can get some guidance, go to church, pray, because we need to do this in these days and times. All these diseases and crazy current events with the weather and the government, you know what I'm saying? Everything is really making itself known as far as the Bible and all that's concerned. So
and I wanted just to swing back again. What is an epidemiologist? Why don't I call it a disease detective? A disease detective. So one of the first things we want to find out is, what is the name of this disease that's affecting either the babies, the adults in the community? What is the name and how does it work to affect people? The next thing is, who is affected? Where are they affected? When? And the critical question, why? Once we know why, we can say, this is how you prevent it. Wear your mask.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to close this out for another edition of the Mark Ballard Show. My very special guest, Miss Dr. Bitto, she's a medical specialist for medicine and all that. So, man, shout outs to y'all, her, and people in that field. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back next week. Peace and blessings. Okay, now, so do you have any resources where the public can reach this information of different variants and diseases? Where can they reach the people?
Yes, that's a very good question, because we always need to back this up with resources.
Yeah, thank you.
So for the COVID-19 bivalent vaccine boosters, the brand new one that was approved around the beginning of September, I repeat, COVID-19 bivalent vaccine boosters, this would be the https www.fda.gov. That's the header, but the specific website, will be showing it in a graphic for you later. In addition, CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, has also COVID-19 vaccines update. So this would be www.cdc.gov coronavirus 2019. Again, the full website, you'll see that shortly in the graphic. What of monkeypox? The Centers for Disease Control Prevention, www.cdc.gov poxvirus/monkeypox has information for you. What of polio? The poliomyelitis, the paralytic, possibly fatal disease that we say get your shots because of the outbreaks that they're seeing in several New York counties. www.cdc.gov, polio. What is polio? And of course, from what is, you'll learn how to protect yourself. And then this is an important month, sickle cell disease month. That would be www.nhlbi.nih.gov. So that's a branch of the National Institutes of Health that's telling you about education for this sickle cell month. What can you do? How can you contribute to help individuals of Mediterranean origin or African Americans who are predisposed to the sickle cell disease? nhlbi.nih.gov, and we'll present you with a graphic. Thank you so much for your interest.